Well, the larks was singing loudly, and all of a sudden, hell opened up, and it was every man for himself then.
It went over the top and machine guns just cut it down. I was wounded about 30 yards out.
Young men like myself, joined the army, didn't know what they were fighting for.
Since it was full of dead and wounded men, and all you had was mind my arm and mind my leg, jumping over them.
The boys got shot on the wire, left hanging there. It was a real tragedy.
Did you think it achieved anything at all?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Only got a generation wiped out just.
Do you think it was all worth it in the end?
I can't see it. I can't see what it was for.
I don't know what it was all for. Those who wants war should be in the front line.
Right, Mr. Dickson, we're actually recording now. So, can I ask you first of all, it's a long time ago now since the Somme, 75 years.
Yeah.
How much do you think about it now?
Well, as much as possible, I don't want to think about it. It was tough, you know.
Tell me about it. Tell me what you remember. What were the conditions like?
Oh, conditions were bad. The food, very often when the rations come up, they were shelled and we got none. In days we got no rations. You got an ordinary loaf between 4 men to do a day.
And what about in the trenches themselves? It was.
Oh, well, it was, did you see any of the duck boards? Well, it was A-frames, they called them. And there was bars across them and about 2 foot up from the bottom of the trench. And if you went up that duck board, you were into muck there. So you weren't very happy standing for hours and hours in the trench in that state.
And what about the morning of the 1st of July when the battle actually started? Just talk me through what you remember of that.
Well, the larks was singing loudly, and all of a sudden, as we talked about, hell opened up, and it was every man for himself then.
And what did you do?
Oh, I was like the rest. When you got the order to go, you went. There was one place, there was Lieutenant Maxwell from down Patrick, and he was our platoon officer. And out across No Man's Land there was a tunnel we had cut for the purpose of getting into the German front line. And when we got about halfway through it, it was all shelled and blew in, and we had to try and go back into our own front line. Now we see the boys over the top. We're in the German second line of trenches, and there was dugouts like palaces.
When you say that hell had opened up, what do you mean? Why was it so bad?
The German guns opened up on us, and it was who could take it.
And tell me about what happened to the people you were fighting with, the friends and the comrades that you had.
The what?
The people you were fighting with, the comrades you had in the Irish Rifles, in the trenches. What happened to all the people you were fighting with?
Well, the morale died down a bit when I was your pal and you seen me getting killed and him you killed, and it was tough.
Just describe to me, if you can, the moment of 7:30 in the morning that day. Just describe to me what happened.
Well, there was a lull on when I come to the time, got the order for a charge. And went out of Appley Wood, and then there was a place called the Sunken Road, and it was a bad spot where the Germans had a full view of it. And we got to there and we dug in. When you won't long and you're ready.
How many of your friends survived?
Man,
How many of the group of you, of your battalion, how many of your friends survived?
died.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could tell you. Thousands. Now the Dublin Fusiliers, I don't know what you're really dancing, I don't care, but the Dublin Fusiliers, they were near old Roman Catholics. The best man ever was over the top. There was no fear in them.
The Dublin Fusiliers.
The Dublin Fusiliers.
What were your thoughts when you went over the top?
Well, if possible, get a bit of shelter. And if your own brother had been killed, you daren't stop for to look at him.
And lots of people you were fighting with fell, did they?
They were, yes. A big lot of them.
Is there? Do you think very much about those people? Do you remember those people who you fought with?
I remember them and I would like to meet them all again. I remember we lad was from the Shankill Road in Belfast, Johnny Thompson, and we moved this day from one village to another, and the cook put a fire on the old cooker, and the smoke went up and there was a spotting plane, German plane come over, and he gave the signal, and the Germans opened up, killed near all that was in that building, and I don't know how many horses and mules was killed. Just a real slaughter.
So when you look back on July 1916, 75 years ago, what are your most powerful memories?
It's hard to say. Yes, it's hard to say.
What's the strongest image in your mind, do you think? Is it the moment when you went over the top?
Now, you hear people saying that so and so was a coward and he wouldn't go. Well, there's no use for cowards that moment.
Everybody went.
Everybody went.
Mm-hmm. What do you think now about the tactics, about the officers, about Haig and his colleagues who sent you over the top?
Well, there was one time when I lived way out in the country in Ballyrooney, there was a big Major Woods. He had done almost 20 years, and he used to call in with me on a Sunday evening for a bit of a chat. He says to me, Stephen, John, you said some bad leaders. So I imagine there weren't leaders at all, there were drivers. Oh, he says, a lot of men will lead, he says, but a lot of men will not drive.
But do you think it was all worth it in the end?
I can't see it. I can't see what it was for.
You think it was futile?
What?
Was it futile? The loss of life? A lot of people died. What do you think they died for?
Unnecessary. The cream of Ulster died.
And they didn't need to die, you don't think?
No.
How should the British have fought the war? The British commanders, I mean, Haig and his colleagues. How could they have avoided all that?
Well, a big lot depended on the man that they was leading. If they were good soldiers, they obeyed him.
Are there any happy memories for you out of that time?
Oh, I can't think on it just now.
What happened to you just directly after the war? Because it's the kind of experience that would give people problems afterwards. They give them nightmares afterwards. Were you very badly affected by the Somme after the war? Tell me about that. How?
Many a time my mother had to waken me in the middle of the night. I thought we were in a charge.
And what were you dreaming about? Because they must be the most powerful images in your mind.
Jerry
what were you dreaming about?
Jerry come not the other minute.
Just tell me again what you were dreaming about.
Huh?
What were you dreaming about?
About the charge. Thinking about facing a big German.
How long after the war did it take you to get over all that?
Oh, it was a couple of years before I come round to normal.
You decided to go back this year to the Somme for the first time. What do you expect to find there? What thoughts do you think will go through your mind when you walk through the Somme?
French wasn't big catches, mind you. I remember them locking the pump in order not to get a drink of water. So that's the sort of alley we had.
Mm-hmm. So when you return there in a couple of weeks from now, what do you hope you'll remember? What do you hope you'll recognise?
You know, it's hard for after all them years to recognise.
Do you still think about the conditions that you were under in the trenches then? Does it still occur to you?
Oh yes.
Tell me about those thoughts. What sort of conditions do you remember?
Well, I told you there, but going off the dug boards and getting wet maybe up to that. And you maybe were told off. And a dark winter's night for to go out on a wiring party into no man's lawn. And a big, maybe 2 coiled wire on a shovel shaft, every 2 men was carrying. Remember when that slid it onto your hand was tore off you, and you didn't know where you were in the dark.
You must have seen some very badly injured people as well.
When we were coming back after the battle was over, coming down the trenches were full of dead and wounded men, and all you heard was mind my arm and mind my leg, stomping over them.
People who were injured during the battle.
Yeah.
Were you hurt at all during
No,
the battle?
I wasn't. I was lucky.
You must think yourself a very lucky man.
I was.
Do you think that the generations of today, younger people, appreciate what you did and the sacrifices that your people made?
A big majority of them doesn't. Sure, you know that yourself. Now there's that book, and sure, how many young fellows now would be interested in reading that?
Do you feel a bit let down about that sometimes?
Hmm?
Do you feel a bit disappointed?
Yes, certainly.
What would you say to young people today, people who maybe should learn from your lessons about how to avoid war? What would you say were the lessons of the Somme?
No, indeed.
Is there one sort of message, do you think, from the Somme, from what happened on the Somme?
What?
Is there one message about what happened on the Somme?
Well, there's that many things happened. It'll take you to have a good memory to remember them all. I remember we were lying at a place called Paddy Point. There was an awful fog, and there was a Jerry plane come over flying very low, and the commander of the platoon wanted him to let her get a shot at it, and he wouldn't let us. And went about half a mile farther up to a place called Red Lodge, and there was a big body, a big gun called Lucky Jim, and they bombed Lucky Jim and killed the gun crew, and then he was raging because he didn't let us have a shot at it. We were sure to bring it down.
You must have seen some acts of incredible bravery.
Yes.
What sort of things did people do?
Well, I know one thing. They talk about the VC. A man that went to the VC, he didn't know he went. The memory is on a certain thing, and he does that, and he doesn't know that he's going to get decorated.
So can I just ask you finally, Mr. Dickson, because we've nearly finished, but can I just ask you finally, overall, this so many years on now, a lifetime later, looking back, do you think it was all worth it?
I don't think it was. No. Here's about Johnny Devlin from the Shankill Road, when we got a couple of days back out to the a mile out from the front line, and he called into the dugout, threw the ground sheet down in one blanket. Johnny would have stretched himself in the morning. "Hey boy, what day is this?" And then he would maybe, while after he'd say to the "Hey boy, when's this seventh thing going to be over to get home?"
There must have been a lot of people who helped to keep you all cheerful.
That's right.
How did they do that? I mean, people still sing war songs today. How did you keep cheerful in the trenches?
Well, there was a Davy Major from Newton Ards in Mouth Oregon, and if you were downhearted and low, Davy would have got you on the hop again.
So I mean, there were some bits of fun despite the.
There was. You know that lice was an animatless. This Major, he was a bit dirty anyway. The doctor was inspecting. He says, "Anything on you, Major?" He says, "If they're all armed, that's for me, so the Germans wouldn't last it long." And then he said, "I'll give you two big ones for wheeling."
Just one last question then, Mr. Dickson, before we finish recording. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, to conditions inside the trenches, you've spoken about how it was dirty and about the duck boards and about the mud and the water. What was your lifestyle like? How did you manage to to feed yourself and to keep clean and to just be, have all the comforts that you could possibly get in such difficult circumstances? How did you manage that?
Well, there was no such thing as keep yourself clean. And when you got a few days leave out of the front line, you might, if there'd been there was a big workhouse, and you might have got a bit of maybe a platoon at a time, and we bit of soup, and you rubbed my back and I rubbed yours, and the boy that was controlling the water turned the water on, and we did the water, and that was the bath you got.
And that was rare. How often did you do that?
Oh, maybe once in 2 or 3 months.
Right. Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Not at all. I'm sure I couldn't remember more.
No, that's great. Well, when did you actually arrive there? Can you remember that?
What?
Can you remember when you were actually posted to the Somme?
My battalion went out on the 2nd of October 1915.
2nd of October 1915?
Yes.
And you went to northern France then? You went to the Somme then, yeah?
Or on a line up at Ypres.
Right.
Ypres and what? Harpenville.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if I've seen them, bring them all back in my memory again.
Yeah, yeah. And then you went to the Somme in 1916.
Yes.
And how long were you there for? Because the battle went on for quite a while, didn't it, after the 1st of July?
Oh, no, yes, an awful time after it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were transferred the English.
By the time you got into the Somme, all that sort of thing about Christmas truces and football matches and everything else, that was all over, that was all finished,
That was all over.
All that sort of, the camaraderie really had gone by then, it had become too bitter.
Imagine that 2 different crowds, the British Army and the German Army, went out into no man's land to play football.
Mm.
And thrown along, one of the leaders, I forget who it was, went out and told them to get back to their work.
Right. Right. Well, when you came out of the army after the war, what did you do? What was your job in later life?
I served my time to the shoemaking with my father.
Right.
And when Saturday night come up, I got 2pence for a packet of woodbine. I thought I was lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think my father...
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
beside my own home.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 years, and I come home, and I got on as a postman. And I've done 34 and a half years as a postman.
On the Sunday, because we're travelling on the Saturday,
Yeah.
and the ceremonies are on the Monday. So on the Sunday there'll be time for all that. And they're very impressive because they're so nicely kept.
Yeah.
They're very they're quite moving, really, I think. And I find them quite moving. And I mean, obviously, I was the first time I'd been there. It was last year. But just walking around them, they're very peaceful, and they're very nicely kept. There's birds and all that sort of thing, and flowers and
Yes, I
nicely.
believe they're well kept.
They are very. In fact, when I was there last year, we found one grave, a man called Taylor, in the Connaught. The flowers were from a man called W. Taylor Jr., who wrote on his card that he'd found you after 70 years, or 72 years. So it must be his grandson, I think, who came out to find his grave.
There was one of my pals that went out with us in 1915, and he wasn't long out till, I don't know what happened, but he was sent home again sick.
Mm-hmm.
And he was home for about 6 months, and he was sent out again. That man was here. So I come up along and I shouted at him, and he come and he left to send down that time the cigarette was and Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a cigarette, and there was 3 cigarettes and a butt.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his breakfast, and he was going up to the trenches, the front line for the first time. And there was a communication trench maybe a mile long.
Read away.
starting there, and you turn towards Johnson to the turn this bit. Tell you when. Turn. Hold it. Good. Ready? And down.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work there.
see another camera crew just around.
time? Go. When you see me tilt up, you can start out of that. Lens covered. Ready?
We're just putting our medals on.
Knock my crown out, would it?
All right, then.
Oh, stop.
There's one.
Picture medals, Leslie.
Eh?
Picture medals.
Fix them. I think it's bad.
There you go, there's your buggy. Your buggy awaits you. Wrong one. Oh, still
It's John.
And you get over to the edge. That's it. That's it. Just over like that onto the edge. Just lift your bum over. That's it. That's it. Roll it here down. All right. That's it. Just ease it down slow. We've got a good hold of you. You're all right. Good man. Good.
That's it, brilliant.
That's it. Got your stick.
Right, John.
There's the seat. Okay. Got you there.
I remember when you,
That's it.
I remember when you can't help it.
Get your feet up and we'll put them in.
Now just bend. Just bend your knees.
That's it.
Okay.
Ready?
Well, stop.
Black one.
Charlie, leave it there a second.
Okay. Lock a driver's door.
Yeah. Jonathan, what do you think of the tower?
Nice.
It's good, isn't it?
Put the people up at top, John. John, put the people on top of the tower. Look at the ones on the top of the tower.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
I was just going to move for bus.
Come on.
Charlie, did you move the minibus, please?
Work away right now. Bring them up.
Yeah, work away, Billy. Very well. That's the one there, Leslie Bell. Would you mind shaking hands with him again, please? Go on. Sorry. There.
We're getting organised the business.
Did you fight on then? I mean, that's
Right.
Oh no, that's I don't.
Just move the lady off the steps, please. That's great. Get them all cleared. All right. All look this way then. Give me a nice big happy smile. That's it. That's great. Where's my big smile there? That's lovely. Super. Can I just move the two of you behind the chair? Maybe just stand a wee bit tighter together. That's nice. Doing a good job. That's it. Can I move that a wee bit? Is that okay? All right.
In 5, Jonathan. 4,
Okay.
3.
Leslie, back on the Somme after 75 years. What does it mean to you to come back to a place like this?
It's a sad business. It's a pretty sad business. A lot of the lads lying there this last 75 years, all for no purpose.
Just
Bring
talk,
back memories, like.
what sort of memories?
No, with good days and bad days.
Just tell me what you remember of the morning of the 1st of July in 1916.
Well, the morning of 4th of July 1916 was a very nice, bright, warm morning. The guns the road all night, and they ceased about 5 minutes to 8, I think. We were to go over the top at 8 o'clock, so the guns ceased, so off we went.
And what happened? You went over the top, and then what happened to you?
They went over the top, and machine guns just cut us down. Cut us down right and left.
And what about you yourself, Leslie? How did you fare?
I was wounded about 30 yards out from the front line fence.
What sort of memories does it bring back to you when you stand here in the fields of the Somme?
Well, it brings lots of memories of with good time and bad time. They were good lads, the whole lot of them. So that includes both north and south. Right.
Do you still think about it much nowadays?
Well, this last 6 months or so since I talked about coming here for the last time, well, I thought it'd be nice to come maybe for the last time. Like,
Do you think that because it is your last time, it will be a particularly emotional visit for you?
I think a lot of people at home are pleased to know that their friend is not forgotten.
Do you remember the comrades that you spent those months in the trenches with?
Oh yes, remember them all, yes. Remember. They're all dead now. All dead.
It was a disastrous day, the 1st of
That
July
was
1916.
a real slaughter match. Just got them slaughtered right and left. Just a real slaughter match. It was an awful mistake. Just a tragedy. They heads to be didn't realise what they put people into. But if they had it done, it would never happened. The division on the right, they never went out to the trenches at all. We were just told, shoulder arms, light your cigarette, walk on, no opposition, nobody to meet you. But we found out we were wrong because the wire wasn't cut, no nothing. A lot of boys got shot on the wire, left hanging there. It was a real tragedy. I don't know what the idea was. Some said it was they didn't want Ulsterman back. Others said it was to relieve the French. But I don't know. It wasn't ours the reason why. It was ours to do, and they just...
But you were told that the Germans had been wiped out by the bombardment.
Yes, wiped out. No opposition at all. Close your arm, walk on. Light your cigarette. But they didn't say that where we'd get the cigarette. They never asked us, had we?
Within minutes of you going over the top, you must have known that that was wrong.
Well, we knew it was wrong. We knew it even before it was wrong. Because if you had to put up your helmet on your rifle or anything, there's sure to be a bullet put through it, so there's still somebody alive to shoot.
There was tremendous loss of life. Did you think it achieved anything at all?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Only got a generation wiped out just. Achieved nothing. And at nightfall they were back to where they started from nightfall after losing nearly the whole division.
So in fact, nothing was gained?
Nothing was gained. Absolutely nothing. Only a loss of life. A division wiped out just.
Do you think that people nowadays, back in Northern Ireland and elsewhere, recognise and realise the tragedy of the Somme?
Oh, if there had been television at that particular time, I really think there would have been a revolution. The people at home wouldn't have stood for what their husbands and sons come through. With the rats and lice and starvation, they wouldn't have stood for it. There would have been a revolution.
You must have known when you got back after the war, you must have known lots of widows, lots of mothers who lost their sons.
Yes. I knew that a lot of them lost it for no purpose. Absolutely no purpose at all.
Tell me what sort of thoughts you have as you wander around the graveyards here and you see the graves of your friends.
Well, you think of old times and men you'd played cards with, men you drank with and all. There they are. Never see them again.
And this will be your last visit back here?
Oh, I think this will be the last visit.
Okay, Leslie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great.
You give yourself the medal, son.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't make a film.
No, you were great. You were great. It's just hold still a second, Leslie. It's just taking a few pictures of your medals. No, that was
Back
great.
slightly, John.
That was fine, yeah. You stay where you are.
Get his eye line towards you. Talk away.
And we'll. Are you going to have a wander over to the Connaught Cemetery shortly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, with John and William. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a chat over there, perhaps. Okay. That's
That's
great.
all right.
Thanks very much.
There we are, Master. All right, there we are.
You're all right, now. You're all right. Just back where you're all right.
Side? Can't, can he?
If you want. If you want. If you don't want.
That's Private Fairbrother there.
Mr. Calvert, could I ask you to sign this map? Very quiet when you move. Most of them are cancer, all Irish riflemen.
Probably be in the other cemetery up here, John.
John, can we just ask you one question?
Head back, John.
Can we just ask you what you think of the way the cemeteries are kept?
Well, as I said before, it's a credit to them and do it. And beautiful. Couldn't be beat.
So what are your impressions then on your first visit back so far? What are your impressions of your first visit back so far?
Well, I'm glad to see that the dead so well remembered.
It's all very nicely kept, isn't it?
Yes. Beautiful.
I'm going up to Dickson. I can't hold them anymore.
Come out of there.
What?
Really, the front line was on the other side of the wood. You see, the other side of the wood.
That wood over there,
The
yeah.
other side of the
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah.
You see, the other side. Well, then where we were, you see, the land was a swamp at the back, you see. There's only one wee narrow road in, you see. Well, the weed runs up like that, you see. And then up here, and the trenches is here, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And then no man's land was in front. That was no man's land, you see.
No, don't move much forward.
Okay,
Bring up the mic a bit closer. I'm rolling.
We're just about to start recording now. So we were just chatting before, we weren't recording. So can I just ask you how well you recognise the lay of the land here? How well do you recognise the lay of the land?
It's beautiful all around here. I was greatly surprised.
Can you recognise the features?
Well, no, I don't see, no, it's not, it's all different, you see. It was all open land then in my time, you see. It is all different, you see. But these times, you see, there's no such thing as motors or anything like that in that time. It was all nearly donkeys and horses and mules, you see. And it's all like, but then of course they had transport, you see. They brought up the sums all up to what we call the dump, you see. And then there's so many out of every company was going down and collecting that, you see. There's no white cloths or nothing then. It's all, stuff is all put into sandbags. And then that's carried on up, you see.
So when you arrived here this afternoon, what were your thoughts about how it's kept and how it's preserved?
I didn't think it was I didn't think there was any war here, you see.
Right. Are they? It will be. So, can I just ask you again, Mr. Calvert, when you arrived here, what did you think of the way that all of this is preserved, of the graveyards and the tower and so on?
Well, when I arrived here, there's no such a thing as a tower or anything else. See, these look at these thieves was here at that time, you see? There's all open space,
And when you arrived here today and you saw the graveyards and the tower?
That was a greatly improved. Greatly improved on what it was 75 years ago.
Okay. So, you're impressed with the graveyards and the tower?
Yes. Well, the graveyard... I don't know what it was all for. When I went down there the other day, you know, and I completely lost control, and you know, young men like myself joined the army, didn't know what they were fighting for. And there they are today, and I'm one of the unlucky ones. Young lives is lying down there. See, that's what they get, you see. And I still maintain, those who once war should be in the front line. That's my belief.
Okay, Mr. Calvert, that's great. Thank you very much.
If you go around the back, there's the French on the left.
Good decoration, wasn't it? It was practically a VC.
Yeah, that's what I say. On the other hand, there were plenty of military medals.
More, yeah.
The rest they came up with the rations.
1940. You know when the fight was alive in the 30th Division. That was North Country. Large men. King Bernard Maywood. Were you at the scene of the training mines when all the mines went up in the 70s?
We had an American doctor.
Good. Left. Turn.
What's your bag? Just keep her low now so we're not in the picture. Can you hold her a second? Yep. When I tell you, just go past me. I'm going to stop. I want to take a morning.
que là. Non, c'est pas là.
C'est même pas là où
Ah bon, je sais pas. Parce que je vois pas où est-ce que c'est.